How much in terms of that Arsenal overall performance, and how impressive was it, given that we will come to the opposition that Spurs put up later on in the show?
I like the combination of, and I mean, it's an obvious one, people will say that, but Bukayo Saka and Timber, the way they attack and they defend together, it's second to none. Everything came from the right and ended up going to Eze or to Leandro Trossard. Everything goes there. And the way they do defend also together, the activity. It's like when you see one, you see the other one, regardless of where they are on the field. That combination is lethal.
With those additions to the Arsenal squad in the summer, it was sort of expected that Leandro Trossard would be playing a sort of slightly reduced role, and yet that's 8 starts in a row for him. And I know there are injuries in that Arsenal squad and players who've been unavailable, but he scored big goals in that time.
He has, and whenever I looked at Arsenal, I always felt left wing was a real weak area for them. Whether it was sort of Martinelli or Trossard, I never quite felt they were at the standard in terms of winning the league. I actually thought Eze may play a lot of football there, one of the reasons why he came in, but he's been absolutely brilliant. And you know what, he's been really good ever since he came to the club. I think he came in January a couple of years ago, and he's always been that type of player, got your goals. I think Gary mentioned in commentary, I mean, you look at that space again in the middle of the pitch. I think Gary mentioned in commentary that run that Freddie Ljungberg would make. And again, Freddie Ljungberg was the type of player who wasn't someone amazing with the ball, but it was the penetrating runs, it was what he did off the ball. And he basically, I think a few years ago with you, Thierry, won you the title with so many vital goals.
The 2002.
And he's doing something similar this season.
You'd have liked that ball from Marino, though, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's for sure. You know, but we go back to the attacking point of view is outstanding. Marino turning, seeing, Trossard finishing, obviously little deflection. But I mean, if you let a player of that quality like Marino turn around in the stadium and then just pick someone just like that and allow someone to run, that's what he was talking about like how embarrassing the performance of Tottenham was. But you know, I'm not complaining.
So
tonight,
well, as poor as Spurs were in this North London derby, Arsenal had to capitalise, and they did so in style. It's a 4-1 win, a hat-trick for summer signing Eze, and they go 6 points clear at the top of the table. We'll hear from their boss. Mikel Arteta's up next. North London Forever, the song introduced by Mikel Arteta just a few years ago, but never sung more loudly. Here is the Arsenal boss with Patrick Davison.
Well, Mikel, did you just love everything about that, everything the club, the team delivered today?
Yeah, I enjoyed every minute of it. The preparation since they came back from the international break, the energy that I felt, the hunger to play the game, the enthusiasm, the joy, and then when you are able to play in the manner that we played, perform in the manner that we did, and to win with the goals that we scored against our rivals, obviously it's a very special day.
When it's the North London derby, you know, on both sides, people speak beforehand about, you know, almost tactics going out the window. It's about character. Is it about fight? You know, did your team win in that regard today?
Well, we certainly wanted to impose ourselves in every department, but it has to start that with that intensity, with the duels being very precise, because the space is limited. There's a lot of aggression on the pitch. They are a really, really good team, and we have to earn it. I think we started from the beginning really strong, really intense, creating a massive chance with Declan straight away, and we had to be patient. But we looked very dominant. We scored 2 magnificent goals to start with, and then in the second half as well, we maintained the consistency, and even though there are things to improve, overall I think it was a great performance.
Yeah. That said, in the tactical aspect, you did seem to find a particular way of going sort of round their shape and then an underlapping run coming through it. And you did say beforehand you half expected them to play a 3 at the back or a 5 at the back. So how much of that actually was plotted on the training pitch?
Well, during the international break, I had a lot of time to think and to analyse and to think what they could do. You know, analyse the games, our games, and what was probably the best chance for us, for them to create issues against us. And that was a possibility that we prepared. Obviously, we didn't know the moment we got the lineup. We made the adjustment that we had to make, and then the players delivered an incredible performance.
So I know you won't want to give too much away, but that's really sort of fascinating to us. So with that extra time you had on your hands during the international break, like, what did you see about what they do that you thought? Because you ended up with so much came with you having chances centrally. You've obviously worked that space.
Well, just try to understand and how they can be thinking, what's the perception they have in relation to us, and what we believe that they can do, but we don't know. But our job is to be prepared, and then, within the game plan that we want to provide, simplify it as much as possible, whether they play with one formation or the other. And then the players have to deliver, and they certainly done it today.
And Eberechi Eze today, and I know it's hard to sort of talk about him on a day where he's done it against Tottenham, but do you think back to that in the summer? I think that was, forget Tottenham, but was that a huge moment? Because you'd already had a good transfer window, and you went again.
Yes, obviously as well we had the news that we had, and thanks God we had the window, and the club was really supportive, and Andrea was excellent delivering that, because at the moment we are missing Gabriel, Carragher, Victor Gyökeres, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Martin Odegaard, Martinelli just came back, Noni Madueke just came back, so thanks God we have a lot of players.
It's actually worth picking out maybe a couple of unsung heroes, not maybe unsung to you, but guys that we don't talk about probably a lot. Trossard, Merino, both brilliant again today.
Unbelievable. They've been so consistent as well the whole season, and credit to them, the way they prepare themselves, how much they want it. They are able to play in different positions. I think Piero as well. I mean, that was a big task to replace Big Gabi. That's a major job, and I think he was excellent from the beginning.
Lastly, Pep Guardiola said on Friday, if Arsenal are that good, that if they get a 6-7 point lead, they're going to be really hard to stop. Do you feel like the way you're playing with the players you've got to come back, you're going to be really hard to stop now?
I don't know. You have to go game by game. I know the league is so tough when you look at the results yesterday and today, and the margins that teams are winning matches for, is super reduced. So we know that it's going to be a long journey. We are really excited what we're doing. We have to maintain that momentum. Enjoy today and tomorrow. Bayern Munich.
It doesn't get any easier. Well done, Mikel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bayern Munich and then Chelsea to come next in the league. They're second at the moment, but there is a 6-point gap between Arsenal and Chelsea. And historically, any team that has had that cushion after 12 games has gone on to win the league. It's happened to Manchester United, it's happened twice to Chelsea, once to Manchester City and twice to Liverpool. The word inevitable seems to be hanging around Arsenal at the moment. Every other team who's been in this position has gone on to win the league.
Look, now this is not me talking as an Arsenal fan. It is me saying at one point you have to embrace it. People were talking about the process. It's not believing in the process anymore, it's happening. You have to be honest. We put ourselves in a situation where we have, I do believe, the best squad. Did you hear the name of the players that he mentioned just now? They're not playing. Look at how we played. You're not complaining anymore about missing one or two. So you need to make sure that you can win the league. I'm not saying you're going to win it, but you need to act like it. You are favorite. Embrace it. Not know anything. Like we all know it's going to be difficult against Chelsea. We all know we have the game at in midweek against Bayern Munich. But it's time to deliver. And you need to embrace it. It's not me trying to put pressure. It's not. If I was in that dressing room, that's how I would have come back in the summer. I would have said, guys, it's time. Enough of messing around. We need to now put a performance this year where people are going to be scared of us. And that's about it. It's not being cocky. It's not being whatever it is. It is you work for it, right? You suffered from it. Everything that you did this summer is to make sure that you can have two squad. I would say that the two squad that we have, if you maybe change it however you want to change it, can finish. Obviously, the first one, you know what we can do when the guys play. The other one can be in the top four. This is how good of a squad we have.
I think over the last 3 years, people have almost sort of laughed at Arsenal a little bit about second again. But there's a lot of big clubs in this country, and I mean, it's not something to turn your nose up at in terms of finish second 3 years. That's not easy in itself. But what Arsenal have done in those 3 years, they've never threw the league away. The first couple of years up against Man City, we all felt Man City were a better team than them. They probably let themselves down a little bit last season, how far off they were from Liverpool. But the only team who can stop Arsenal winning the league is Arsenal. They are the best team. They are the best squad. The only thing that can stop them is their own head, their own mentality. Maybe this crowd getting nervous in March and April. If the league is still up for grabs by then, this would be one. If they didn't win it, I think we'd all point the finger at them and say, you threw this away. I don't think that's ever been the case before. I always think the case has been there has been a team slightly better than them in the Premier League, but that is definitely not the case this season.
And there have been moments at this ground late on in the past 3 seasons where it's felt extremely tense here at the Emirates, in games where Arsenal will have felt they had to win to either stay in the title race or maybe just get their noses in front in title races, and that's where they've fallen short. Do they look more relaxed to you? Do they look more so that pressure isn't there in the same way?
Mikel looks more relaxed. The way he's on the bench, he would have his moment, like everyone right on the bench. But sometimes when you're the boss, you don't do it on purpose. But the way you are will have an impact on everyone in the stadium and on your team. But I can see that now also having the squad that he has makes him go into game more relaxed because of what the guys can give him, and you could see it today. But yeah, you feel it as an Arsenal fan. Sometimes when you're there, and maybe before, the 2 years before or last year, 3-1, we would have seen it out. Maybe we would have finished 3-2, bang, 4-1, and then we control the ball and we go back being in control of the game. So that's a plus. But I agree with Jamie. It's not so much about what the others are doing. It's in your hand. Just get on with it.
And I think the point about finishing in second place for 3 consecutive seasons is an interesting one, because sometimes, as much of an achievement as that might be, 3 seasons is quite a long time in football. So for that same-ish group of players to go again and to have the energy to go again, to have the focus to go again and find themselves in this position, is that impressive in itself?
It is, but you know what? I will take. Bukayo has been there for a little while. You have guys that are just arrived, but it seems that they bought into what's happening. Sometimes it takes a bit of a moment to do that. But for me, when I see how Declan Rice plays, and how all those guys play, by the way, we can talk about Nkapie, we can talk about everybody. You can see that there is something happening this year. Once again, that doesn't mean you're going to win the league, but the attitude of it is right there. So let's not, mess it up. And I'm going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah,
with
I'm
you.
sure you will. I'm going to have a nightmare.
Yeah.